Melanin Matters, honoring Black bodies through contrology. We hold safe wellness spaces where Black bodies can freely breathe, move, and thrive. We're on a mission to globally impact the Pilates industry while shifting the narrative of what Black wellness looks like. Because wellness is a right for all, not a privilege for the few.
In 2020, remember the year of the big pivot for everybody? It actually came a little bit earlier for me. In that February, I had planned our annual ski weekend getaway, and a week before the event, 3 people canceled on me. And all I got was, girl, I ain't gonna be able to make it. So I'd already put the deposit down on the rooms. And within a week of an event, the hotels are not giving any refunds. So they are gonna charge my card, which left me holding the bag of $1,200. So I had to, at that point, give the rooms away because I didn't want to just pay the hotel $1,200 and nobody used the rooms. And that was when I decided that, yeah, this is not for me anymore. Welcome to Melanin Matters. I am Coach Robin Renee, your mindful movement guide through your Pilates journey. In today's conversation, we're going to talk about wellness retreats. What are they? Why do people like going on them? Why do people like hosting them? We'll talk about the ins and outs, the ups and downs. Wellness retreats are usually designed around a theme or topics of challenges that people may face. The activities on the retreat are geared towards addressing those challenges, as well as giving the retreat attendees some useful strategies that they can take away from the retreat and implement when they're back in their everyday life settings. I've been on wellness retreats before where I've gotten some very useful strategies that I actually still implement today. As an attendee at those retreats, retreat hosts was just not something in my mind. Even though for years I put together weekend getaways or staycations or glamping trips for friends and family, it didn't mean the same in my mind as being a retreat host. So what made me decide to become a retreat host? In 2024, I planned on going on a retreat to Bali with a friend of mine who was hosting it there. So I went to the site, I looked it up, I saw the activities, and there were activities that I knew that I wouldn't participate in. And it's nothing bad. It just has more to do with me respecting other cultures, religion and spirituality. And so I knew some of the activities I wasn't going to participate in. So as I'm looking, I'm eliminating a substantial amount of activities that I knew I wasn't going to end up participating in. And so I'm thinking, is this really the retreat for me? Well, right next to that, she had a retreat host training in Bali. So I was like, okay, let me look into this and let me see what this is all about. So when I clicked the link to go in there, something wasn't working right with it. So I had to reach out to her to let her know what was going on with the site. Well, when she called, she said, I just had a conversation about you yesterday, and now here we are on the phone today. She then asked, what made you pick the retreat host training? And I said, well, it looked interesting, so I just wanted to find out more about, how it works. She then said, you have actually been doing retreats for years. You just haven't been calling them that. And you just have not been getting paid the value of what you've been offering in your services. As I listened to what she was saying and replayed in my mind the years of me planning those weekend getaways and staycations and glamping trips and all of the money that I spent and never recouped, I resolved that she was right. So we finished our conversation, caught up on some things, and I booked the trip. In a few weeks, I was on my way to Bali for my retreat host training through Living Life Limitlessly University with Althea Lawson Thompson. From the moment I arrived in Bali until the moment I left, Althea's attention to detail was impeccable. She took me through all of the logistics of from booking my flight to navigating through the airport to getting drivers. We stayed at 3 different places where we scouted out the pluses, the minuses, of each individual property, of how my guests would navigate in different spaces, and me keeping my community, or at least the community that I'm inviting, in mind as I am organizing and as I am designing this wellness retreat around rest. Rest was the word that I had gotten earlier that year about where I was going to move and navigate through my wellness community, is just helping people to rest and restore, because we're constantly on the go in life, that we have such a difficult time resting. So I knew going in that my retreats were going to be designed around rest and restoration. So I had to keep that in mind as we did the different activities. Althea took me all throughout Bali. We didn't just stay on the resort properties because she wanted me to see life outside of that constructed space. Because up until then, I had only seen people's videos and pictures of how beautiful Bali is and all of the wonderful things. And they weren't lying. They were not. They weren't lying. Those things were true. But being with Althea and being able to connect with local people doing local activities in local spaces gave me an entirely different perspective. Now, I must say, of all those videos and pictures that I saw, I didn't see anything about the traffic in Bali, the way the streets are constructed, the activities that are going on. I didn't see any of that. But with Althea, I saw it. And for me, it was a bit much. I'll be honest, it was a bit overwhelming. One of the most overwhelming things for me in Bali was the pollution. It was the smoking. That's not something that my lungs can take very well, and it was a lot. So I'm making mental notes throughout the entire visit there to make sure that I keep that up top to let my people know, especially anybody with respiratory issues. If you have them, staying on the resort compound may be the best thing for you. But to get out in the city, moving out in the marketplaces, that smoke was a lot for me. Also, the exhaust from the cars and from the mopeds, because majority of the population is moving around, at least where we were, moving around on those mopeds, but there are also cars, no traffic lights. It's kind of like following the rules of the road are optional, but that exhaust from those mopeds each night, as I cleaned my ears and blew my nose, it was black. Like it was a lot. The pollution was a lot for me. So that's definitely a no for me. But Bali is a beautiful country, at least where I was. It's a beautiful country. The culture is so rich. They are so respectful. It's a beautiful place. But for me, that's a no for the pollution. Now, along with the air pollution from the outside, from the mopeds, from the cars, is smoking. Smoking. I mean, I barely saw people, especially natives, that did not smoke. I'm wondering, like, do the babies smoke? Like, it was just a lot of smoke. So that was a lot. It was a lot. Again, that was a no for me. Now, the food, 10 out of 10. The food was so fresh, so clean. It was good. Every meal I ate, I thoroughly enjoyed in Bali. I also had homework, right? I'm in school, right? I'm in Living Life Limitlessly University with Althea Lawton Thompson. So each time we went to a property, I had a checklist of things that I needed to make sure either I, had discussed with the managers or whoever our contact person was, or that I made notes of that I wanted to discuss. And at the end, I had to do the comparisons to see which property would be the best decision for the community that I wanted to bring to Bali. She also took me through the financials, the logistics of what it would be time-wise, not just financial, but time-wise, resource-wise, to make the best decision for the community that I wanted to bring to Bali. Now, my Bali retreat was ready and set to go for the summer of 2025. In the meantime, me and my husband took a vacation to Belize in December of 2024. And we were planning on staying at a wellness retreat because I just wanted to check it out in case, it would be a possibility to host a retreat there in the future. When I got off that plane at the airport, there was an energy in the air in Belize that made me say, I think I'm gonna like it here. It was just a feeling. We got to the retreat center. It felt like a big hug. Shout out to Harbor View Boutique Hotel and Wellness Retreat in Belize City. It's owned by a mother and daughter team, a Black mother and daughter team. It is gorgeous. They have carved out and created a piece of paradise right in the city, in Belize City. The things that I would be looking for in a wellness retreat were right there at Harborview. From the food, there's a cafe there, delicious food. There's a spa. There are naturopathic wellness services. There's a studio, because I'm hosting a Pilates retreat and they have yoga there already, but I was also looking for a space where I would be able to teach Pilates. It's in a central location. It's right by the Bureau of Tourism. So it's in a location where you can easily navigate transportation if you decided to leave off the grounds to be able to get around Belize City. One morning in the cafe, I met one of the owners, Miss Martha, the mom. She was so sweet. I shared with her that I was a new retreat host and I was thinking maybe I can bring a group to Harborview. She was like, sure, bring your people, we'll take care of you. So I went to the office, talked to the office manager. We looked up some dates of when would be the best time for me to bring my group back there, put down a deposit, and just like that, the retreat was planned for Belize. Well, a few months before the retreat was supposed to happen, I started getting those calls where, girl, I know I wanted to come. I'm not gonna be able to make it. I'm like, okay, no worries. I'm not tripping. We still got, people that are coming. Then I got more calls. Like, I'm not gonna be able to make it. Okay, fine, no worries. Whatever happens, life happens to people, so I'm not holding it against anybody if life was happening to them and they weren't able to make it. Well, the cancellations or the calls kept coming. Even my assistants couldn't make it. And I thought, okay, it's a smaller group. I'll be fine. I can just wing it. It got down to where there was only one person that was registered to go on this retreat. Now, I could have just totally canceled out the retreat, but I didn't have that feeling. I'm working on the energy of these connections that I had in mind to make, as well as actual connections that I had started making. So I was not canceling. I was still going to go, even if the one person canceled. But the other thing that made me not cancel was the fact that she was faithfully and consistently making her payments was a clear indication to me that this was something that she really wanted to do. And so I'm like, okay, if it's just one person, me and her are going to go there and have a ball. Because I had to remember I was the only one at my Bali retreat host training, and it was the best. So I wanted to make sure that I hosted her in a way to treat her like a queen. So from the moment of her touching down in Belize City to the moment we touched down back in the city of Chicago, she got the royal treatment. But I'll let her share her experience with you. Hey girl, hey.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm good.
You good? How does it feel to be back?
Oh, I want to go back.
She wants to go back. So where she wants to go back, like I told you all, I was going to bring in my retreat guest so that she can give you her experience of our first international Pilates retreat in Belize. So I'm going to allow her to introduce herself to you, and then we'll go from there to discuss her experience.
Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. My name is Lisa Green. I am a part of the original Pilates posse from way back when, over 20 years ago, rocking with Coach Robin in this fitness and wellness journey. Just so excited to be here to be able to share my experience and hopefully encourage some other people to join us. Come along. It's a fun ride.
It's a fun ride. Okay, so what I want to talk about is just your decision-making process, like what made you decide, one, to go on a Pilates retreat, and another, why say yes to Belize? Go ahead.
Wouldn't say yes to Belize. The retreat, because of my job and just needing to get away, to be in a different environment, to be in some green spaces, some blue spaces, working in an office where you're sitting and you're in one place all day. It's good to be able to come out and just enjoy nature. And So that was the first reason I wanted to go. The second reason would be because I have a friend that's from Belize, and she's always talking about Belize and how nice it is and how relaxing. And I'm like, one day I want to go there. So when this retreat opportunity came, I definitely jumped on it, and I was like, yes, count me in.
Good stuff, good stuff, good stuff. Let's see. So, your experience from being on the plane, right? Because see, I share my experience, like what I felt like when I got off that plane. So when you got off the plane in Belize, like what was that like?
Right, it was different. Yeah, immediately, like coming out of the airport, the people there, very nice, like everybody speaking, hello. Just seeing the palm trees, that was the first thing I remember. And I was like, oh, I'm here, I'm home. So the palm trees, the weather, the environment, the people were just very warm and welcoming. Yeah, so it was a nice experience just getting off the plane.
Okay, getting off the plane. Then you met Lloyd, you met our driver.
I met our driver.
Old school, right?
Old school. and he was about it. About it. He's like, okay, come on.
Right.
Bags, you know, very respectful. He was rocking some music in the car, and so then when I got in the car, he turned it off, and he was kind of talking to me, asking me questions. And then when he paused, I said, you can turn the music back on. It was like some Jamaican music. I was like, come on now, turn it back on. But yeah, so then he was pointing out some places as we were driving. And yeah, he was nice. He was a good tour guide.
Yeah, he's a very good tour guide. We'll tell you about that too, because he was actually our tour guide. So when you got to Harborview, so Harborview is the boutique hotel and retreat center where we stayed. So when he brought you to Harborview, what was your first impression?
Yes, I was like, it's beautiful. Just nature, all of the positive messages and the sayings by the cottages. It was just very inspirational, and it was what I needed. Yeah,
it was what you needed. I'm glad.
Positive messages, a lot of reflection. Yeah.
I'm glad you got what you needed. Yeah. And then we went to the cafe. So there was a cafe on site.
Yes. Yeah, so the people there, again, at the cafe, very warm, welcoming. It felt like you knew them. Like, you know, nothing odd or strange about it. Yeah, they were just very warm and welcoming, very hospitable. Remind me of some of my kinfolk. Like, oh, okay, come on, what can I get you? How can I help you? And yeah, the food, delicious, everything. I had my favorite drink. I think I drank it every day.
Right.
Yeah, my little coconut.
The aqua fresco.
Yes. You have to get that.
That was her drink.
Very refreshing.
Yeah.
It's like as soon as you drank it, it was like very relaxing.
Yeah, but it had all kind of power greens and the spices and stuff. And mine is coconut water with lime. I mean, that's my drink. So when I'm there. So when you first got there, we got to Harborview, we had some something to eat in the cafe, and then you had your first naturopathic service with Dr. Kumar.
Dr. Kumar.
Yeah. So what was the service, and then how did you like it?
So I was debating initially with acupressure and acupuncture because I've never had either one of them. So I decided to go with the safer option for me was acupressure because I'm like, I don't know about the needles. But I did the acupressure, and just the experience with Dr. Kumar, just kind of zoning in on, okay, well, you want to get this done, but tell me what's going on with your body. He was very detailed, and he wanted to get information first before he started to apply pressure. And then he has a great sense of humor. So that was the other thing. It's just funny. Like, okay. So yes, very relaxing. But he kind of talked you through just ways to take care of your body. And so it was more than just the acupressure. It was like, good, healthy advice from a doctor, from Dr. Kumar.
See, and I chose the second. So she did acupressure, I did acupuncture. And I had never done that before, but I had met Dr. Kumar back in December, my first visit to Belize. And we were just talking, like you said, we were just talking about different ways to take care of the body. And he was asking me about things that I've had. And when I looked on the list of the services, I was like, well, I haven't had acupuncture or the cold plunge. He was like, do it.
Right.
You should do both. I was like, I don't know, Dr. Kumar. So he had already told me in December when I came back in May to do the acupuncture.
Okay.
And you're right. When I went in, we did, of course, talk about other ways, just different ways you could naturally either heal your body or just start to jumpstart your body moving in the healing direction.
Right.
But what was funny, so I had some stuff going on with my ankle, and it was the tendons underneath my ankle. So, and I didn't go in the States because I said, I'm gonna see if this Indian doctor know what he's talking about. So I was like, okay, let me just go over there, once I got to Belize. And so I told him about it. So I felt a few pricks, just a few. I remember when he started in my ankle. I do remember that. I remember one in the fold of my arm and then one in between my thumb and my index. Those are the ones I remember, but I know he had to have had, more. But what was funny, when he was done, so I fallen asleep and everything, needles all poked. I don't know how many needles I had, I can't say. But when I got up, when I woke up, he was like, okay, so let me see you walk. And we have an accent to everybody else, so he has an accent too, but he talks really fast and I talk fast. But he was like, so go walk. And I'm like, he's like, walk. Like, go walk. So I was like, okay, so I started, right. So I started walking and he said, what do you look down there for? It's the floor. I was like, oh, okay, because I'm just looking, like trying to see, is my ankle okay? Is it still there? Because I got this, I got this westernized, mindset of what happens, when we have services, here in the States. And he was like, well, what are you looking down there for? Like, it's the floor. He was like, no, look where you're going. He was like, look up, look up. Wow. Hold your head up, hold this. I'm like, okay. So I held my head up and he was like, why you walking so slow? Because I didn't know. So I'm just walking, right? So he was like, do you walk like that? I'm like, no, I don't know. Then I'm getting nervous. Like, I don't know. He said, walk how you walk. Just walk. Then he pulled the tables together and go.
Right.
Go walk. Right. And then I was walking and he was like, does your ankle hurt? I was like, did your ankle hurt or did your ankle not hurt? Right. It was so funny because I wanted to limp, but I really didn't need to. And he was like, it was funny. That was a funny experience. And so I think I just had those phantom feelings for like the rest of the day. Mm-hmm. But the next day I was good. I was fine. That was funny.
Mm-hmm. Now mine was similar. So I think just traveling and so my hip was hurting. So when I got there and you said about doing the service, I said, oh yeah, I'm going to tell him about my hip because I don't know what's going on. Like my hip was hurting. Like when I walk, it was like I could feel it. So when I got there, I'm talking to him about the acupressure, and then he's like, okay, so what's going on and this and that. And I was like, just a little tired, whatever, plane ride. And then I said, and my hip's been hurting like today, like, and he was like, okay. He's like, okay, let me see. So again, the walk. So I'm walking, and he's like, okay. And then he's like, so he was like, is it your right hip, left? He's trying to figure all that out. So then he's like, okay, lay down. So then, he's putting pressure on my legs, whatever. And then he's like, okay, stand up. And he's like, walk. He did the same thing, walk. And then he says, does your hip hurt? He said, no, he said, how's it feel? And so I'm, trying to see like, because I didn't feel anything. So then I'm like, and he was like, does it hurt? Does it not hurt? Like, come on, like, which one is it? And I'm like, it doesn't hurt. And he's like, okay, walk. And again, I'm still nervous because I'm like, I'm used to feeling the pain when I walk. And I'm like, I don't feel it. And he was like, I need you just to walk. He's like, swing your arm. Walk like you naturally walk. Like, why are you like nervous about it?
Right.
And I was like, I don't feel this pain. But yeah, so I was like, wow, you healed just like that. Just, yeah.
It was good.
So he did pull, he's kind of pulling my leg, and pulling my arm. Like, okay, Dr. Kumar. And Kumar's a little guy.
He's a little guy.
He was like pulling
in stature.
I was like, you just stretching me every which way. But yeah, he did help. And my hip didn't hurt after that.
That was good stuff. My God. That was good stuff. So day 2 is when the classes actually started. So day 1, we got there, got settled. Day 2 was when the Pilates classes started. Mm-hmm. And the people showed up. The people showed up for Pilates. We did Pilates on site. And then there's also a public park next to where we were staying. And, we posted up to have classes over there. Then after that, we had the second naturopathic services. Mm-hmm. And
I had the deep tissue massage. Oh my goodness. Now, I've gotten massages here in the States. Something about that one, of course it was the aromatherapy, the window was open, you could hear the birds chirping, just the whole environment. But really, the lady that performed the service, she was just very thorough. And again, I had a lot of tension in my back and my shoulders. And I felt so much better. When I was done, I was like, wow, like this is awesome. Like, this day 2.
Good stuff.
I keep it coming.
And I had a combo service, so I did the infrared sauna and the cold plunge. Now I'm gonna tell you, I don't like nothing cold. I don't like nothing. So I actually had to submerge my body in a tub full of ice. Yeah, y'all, just
He's brave.
yeah,
Brave,
just
right?
yeah,
Bravery.
go. I'll link it somewhere. I'll let you know where so you can see the whole thing. But yeah, it was definitely an experience. I'll say that. And I do, know the benefits of doing, the infrared, using the infrared heat and as well as the cold plunge. So it has a lot of health benefits. But for it to be my first time, it was hilarious. I'm just gonna say that. And then I'll post it for you all to be able to see see my service. We also walked around.
I was proud of you today. I was proud of you.
I was proud of
Dropping
me
in the
too.
ice.
Woo, baby. And so we walked around the neighborhood. So where we were staying is right by the Bureau of Tourism. So it's a pretty busy space, but it's not overcrowded and overwhelmingly busy. And there's a little marketplace down. And so we walked around and just familiarized ourselves with the neighborhood. We met the people. But no, we met the people because the next day, that was our tour. We did the Belize City tour with our driver who used to work for the Bureau of Tourism doing tours. And then during the shutdown in 2020, when everything shut down, he was no longer doing the tours. The planes picked up again before the buses. Remember he told us that, and that's why he started driving.
Right.
So he became a driver and started, doing the transporting from the airport. And, we didn't get into his business, but we're just guessing that was a little bit more lucrative for him. But he still had the information and the knowledge from the department, the Bureau of Tourism. So he gave us that tour. We did all the touristy things, but we went to the south side. We went to the south side of Belize, right?
I don't know about the south side.
The south side. We're from the south side, and it was the south side. It was the south side. So the experience there, it was good to see, just us being in the environment. It was like, oh, this is like our south side. Like, this is the south side. But the sad part, at least for me, was knowing that those businesses were not owned by us. Like, that was the sad part. I didn't, I wasn't too happy and too thrilled. But it was like the gas stations, the laundromats, the grocery stores, the clothing stores, none of them were owned by us. So, but, we saw some good stuff on the south side. And so they're like, we're in the States, we're in Chicago, like our south side. We got the south side, and then we have the south side. Right, we saw it all.
South side. Right before you get to the bridge.
Late south side, we saw it. But it was good. It was a really good tour.
Yes.
That was good stuff.
We saw those historical places.
The oldest church in Central America. Yeah, the oldest church in Central America.
About the fence.
Yeah, so with the fence, so there's a fence behind the church. The original one is still there, but the taller bricks were knocked down, but you can still see the line. So the enslaved people that the British colonizers brought over there could not go to the church. They had to stand on the outside of a brick fence. On the outside while the parishioners were inside the church. Go figure, make it make sense. But yeah, that wasn't too good. And then there was the the cemetery with the mausoleums, and it's now a playground.
Wow.
But it's a playground now. Yes, it's a mausoleum. It's still there, and the bodies are still there.
Bodies are in the.
And it's a children's playground. That was like, ooh, okay.
Bodies in the wall.
Bodies are in the wall, and that's what's lying in the playground, and the bodies are still there. So imagine that you're in this mausoleum, all the crypts have bodies in them, and it's a playground for children. So yeah, I'm not really sure, about that. And then the Mayan population, they have their cemetery. Right. We saw that. We also went to the museum. Now the museum used to be the prison.
Yes, used to be the prison,
and it's still constructed.
I was a little nervous going in there.
Yeah, it used to be the prison, but
they have a gate that closes,
like the jail with the bars.
Hold up, don't play.
Yeah.
Couple of brothers, I'm like, don't play.
Right, don't play. Yeah.
Open this gate.
Yeah, for sure. But it was such an interesting space to be in. Yeah. It's not a huge museum, but it's so rich in information for you to understand what happened and what those African people were traded for. Because I had something to say. You trade my people for some spices.
Cultures intermingled. Yeah.
You trading them for some spices, and your potato salad still got raisins in it. I'm just saying. I ain't like that. No, nobody want no raisins in potato salad. All right, so let's get into this food. We just said we had some food, but so for me, because I'm plant-based, and so I was able to, like always, no matter where we went, find something to eat. We spent most of the time on the retreat grounds anyway, but it was something about being out there on that porch, right on the sea, you know, right at the harbor. Right, because that was the first meal.
The first night.
Were we there like 2
sunset,
hours?
yeah.
Were we there like 2? That might have been 3. Was it? No, because you had your service. So we were there like at least 2 hours. But we were able to actually enjoy every meal and didn't feel rushed that we had to go somewhere. And the service in the cafe, the way the service, now they were very attentive, so don't mistake this. They were very attentive, but they weren't rushing us to hurry up and finish, to come and get our plates, or to make sure that, you know, we were done and we got to leave. Like that, we did not, we did not experience. They didn't do any of that. They just wanted to come back and see whatever you wanted. So we were able to spend hours, and we were just like Otis Redding, sitting on the dock of the bay, watching the pelicans. But the dolphins didn't come. We were waiting on the dolphins, but them pelicans put on the show one day. Yeah, them pelicans swooping down getting that food, but
we saw the little lizard.
Yep. We saw those. We saw the iguanas. I mean, but it was just, it felt so good to not have to rush. Oh, and then one night, I don't know if this was the first night or not.
The music.
No, the music. No, the music. Okay, talk about the music in the cafe.
I don't know if it sounded like somebody was downstairs just jamming. So we heard this music was playing loud, but it was like old school jams. So we're like, okay, where's this music coming from? And I still don't know where it was. We said it was down the street. Maybe,
I don't know.
But it sounded like they were right beneath us. Right. Like, what y'all want to hear?
No,
they just kept playing the music.
That music was good. No, I was talking about when I fell asleep. So I don't know if that was the first night or the second in the hammock, and I woke up and it was raining.
Oh.
Okay, so I laid in the hammock. So we had hammocks on each one of the porches. And so in the cottages, we stayed in cottages.
Yes.
And I fell asleep. It was about 9 o'clock. I woke up, it was like 2 something in the morning. It was raining, like it's a tropical environment. So it was tropical rain. And I felt right, she was inside. I was outside. I was outside. I fell asleep outside, but that was the best sleep ever. It was just like, I got the mist. I wasn't getting rained on, but I got the mist from the rain. And I was like, okay, let me get up and let me go inside. And I was able to go right back to sleep. You know, once I got up, and this one, she didn't get up at all.
I had the best sleep, let me tell you. Like, I was so exhausted. So, I mean, that's one of the things I realized from the retreat is that I really needed to rest. Like, I was so exhausted. So once I went to sleep, I was out, slept straight through, got up in the morning. It's like the birds kind of wake you up. The birds are chirping, you know, the breeze, just everything, just being a part of nature. That's why I was like, yes, I definitely need to go back. It was beautiful.
So the word that she used, rest. So that was the word that I got at the beginning of 2024. I think it was 2024 when I even, you know, was just talking about like things I can do moving in a wellness space. Like, how can I help people rest? Because we're always in a hurry, at least where we're from. There's, you know, this constant need to be on the move and to be on the go. So rest was what I was going to incorporate in everything I was doing. So when I became a retreat host, that's what I wanted my retreats to be surrounded by. I've been on retreats before that you need a rest from when you leave because there's so much going on. Yeah, and I didn't want that. It's a Pilates retreat. We're going to get up. We're going to do some Pilates. Now, you on the Pilates retreat, so we're going to do some Pilates. Set your intentions for the day and you're gone. We meet back up in the evening. We may do one thing in the middle of the day, you know, just the things to get people familiar with the space that we're in. But I just didn't want to bog people down. And so I'm glad you said that, you know, that you were able to get what the intention of the retreat was. The intention was rest. Rest and restoration is what the intention. Yeah, that's what it was. And so were you able to become restored?
I did feel
restored.
I did feel very restored and rejuvenated. Just again, walking around. So one of the things Dr. Kumar said, you know, if you get an opportunity to kind of do some grounding. And so it's like, okay, grounding, like I know grounding exercise, like mental grounding. And he's like, no, where you walk barefoot on the grounds and just let your feet touch the ground, touch the grass, and just, you know, become one with nature. And so I was able to do that, and it was relaxing. It was like, okay, the sun is shining, I'm walking around with toes in the grass. It was nice.
Good stuff. I have to do the grounding because he told me to do that as well.
Yes.
But then we left the mainland. So Belize City is the mainland, and we left the mainland to go over to one of the islands. And so there was this whole big thing with, should we go to San Pedro or should we go to Key Carker? Right. So they kept saying, well, if you want to turn up, go to San Pedro. If you want to turn down, go to Key Carker. But it was, man,
everything. It was all that.
It was all that.
Nothing
at all.
And we weren't even there that long.
We weren't even there. A few hours.
A whole day.
Yeah, we were there like 4 or 5 hours. Yeah, it was beautiful. So yeah, you gotta watch our video so you can see what we saw in Key Carker. But it's a good thing about the way that Belize is made. So you have the mainland, which is Belize City, and then you have the islands that broke off from the mainland, and so you're able to go to different spaces to experience that country. And I appreciate that opportunity.
And people even said like you could stay there like overnight, because people kept saying, "Oh, you guys going there? Or you probably gonna stay overnight?" It's like, no, we're just going.
We didn't take no bags.
Right? Everybody's like, "Oh, you're probably gonna stay overnight."
Yeah,
that's not the plan. But once you get there and you experience it, it's like
you can see why.
We should probably
we should stay overnight.
This is just beautiful.
It was beautiful, and we took a ferry. We took a boat, over there, and on the way there, y'all got to watch the video. But on the way there, that boat on the way there, that was, I don't know. My ancestors didn't like that. They ain't like that. They did not like that boat we had to go on over there. Yeah.
I was feeling some type of way.
Yeah. But on the way back, it was good. Yeah. That was a big, we had a Gen Z captain. So yeah, it was lit. Can we say that? Yeah. It was good. It was good. So all in all, if you had to scale your experience, what would it be?
I'd say a 10. A 10 for me. The fact that I was able to go and get some rest, to get the services, the acupressure, the deep tissue, and then of course my Jotis reading, astrology reading. So just being able to do a variety of things and take care of myself and just do some reflection. I spent a lot of time in the hammock. And not only in Belize City, but then we went to Key Carker. I was in the hammock kind of falling asleep over there.
Yeah.
But just relaxing environments, again, just what I needed at that moment. And the people that we met, they were all so welcoming and so nice. And it's like no pressure. Everything was just like, hey, go with the flow, enjoy yourself, relax. So thank you again.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. So make sure that you check out our playlist so that you can see more about the adventures on our first international Pilates retreat in Belize.
Yes.
That was the first. It won't be the last. That's going to be an annual event. Make sure you comment, make sure you like, make sure you share to let all your people know that the Pilates Posse is on the move. We're taking this Melanin Matters movement global.
Yes.
We want to impact the Pilates industry while at the same time shifting the narrative of what Black wellness looks like.
Absolutely.
Thank you for watching. If you found value in this video, please interact with us by liking, commenting, and sharing with others who you feel may also benefit from it. Until next time, peace and many blessings.